Okay, so here's an exercise I've done, and it's basically before you do anything, before you take anything, write down how do I think this is going to make me feel, and then after you do it, write down how does this actually make me feel. And for me personally, I was amazed at the disassociation I had between what I thought something would do and what it actually did. And I did this a while ago. Like, this is what I did back when I quit nicotine. And I was like, okay, what, before I hit this vape, how do I think this is going to make me feel? And then I hit it, and like, how does this make me feel? And I realized that I was chasing a feeling that wasn't even possible for the nicotine in the vape to give me, and that I was just like chasing the dragon, never fully being able to like get satisfied by the nicotine because I thought that it was supposed to give me something that it had no way of possibly giving me, like a feeling and a sensation. And then I did this same experiment and the same thought with weed a while ago, and I was like, okay, how do I think this is gonna make you feel? I'm like, okay, well, euphoric and relaxed. And then I smoked a little weed, and I'm like, how do I feel? And for me personally, my genetics, I felt like crap because after like the first 30 minutes, I have like a weed hangover, and I just feel like this lack of dopamine in my brain that I try to fill by, or at least tried to fill by eating just a fuck ton of food and also watching TV as a way to escape from the gnawing annoyance that this lack of dopamine like was giving me. It's like that feeling of lack of dopamine. Like if you haven't eaten food in like a day and a half and you just feel like low dopamine and you have this sensation in your body that's telling you it's probably gonna go away if you eat some food. That's what I had. But the thing is, I'd eat food. Like I'd eat uh, I don't know, a pineapple, 2 pounds of ribeye, like freaking 5 apples or something, like a massive amount of food, and I'd still have that feeling. And I'm like, okay, well, that's also another example. I'm like, how do I think this food's gonna make me feel? How do I actually feel after doing this? I'm like, huh. Well, that feeling is obviously means that it's not hunger, because if it was hunger, that would have gone away. And then I don't know, you're just being conscious of your states before you do something and after you do something, seeing if it does what you want it to do. Going in the sauna, does going in the sauna actually make you feel relaxed, or are you overdoing it? Are you going into the sauna for far too long and coming out feeling drained and with a lack of energy? When you work out, I believe I should feel more energized after I work out than before. So after I work out, I check in with myself. I'm like, how do I feel energy wise? Did I go too hard? Do I feel more energized? Do I feel good? Or do I feel absolutely pooped? And I use that as feedback, but like, it really helps because then you start being able to listen to your body more because your body, you're like, okay, well, this is how I feel before, and now I know what I can do to make myself feel this way. Like, if I take caffeine, I this is what I think caffeine's going to do for me. And you take it, you're like, oh wow, this is actually what caffeine does. I was right. Now you know if you feel this way, you can take caffeine to get from point A to B. Okay, well now that you're at point B, hey, if you go for a walk and start getting things moving and increase your metabolism, that can take you from B to C. And then from C to B, like you'd have some like healthy food. And I don't know, for me, that'd be like a nice fatty piece of steak and maybe a little piece of sweet potato. And then you're like, well, now I can take myself from being tired and not feeling that good to feeling pretty damn good. Look at that. And you start noticing this stuff. It's like, I don't know, noticing what makes you feel good, what makes you not feel good. When I eat sugary foods or any dessert item, it's like, okay, well, how do I think I'm gonna feel? Well, I think I'm gonna feel satisfied having eaten this. How do I actually feel? If I eat something sugary, I feel inflamed, like I feel more irritated, and I feel like puffy, like like my water retention is off, and I just feel like my skin feels puffy. Like I don't know how to explain it. Frazzled, like my brain feels frazzled after I eat a dessert. So what do I do? I now use that biofeedback. I listen to my body. I don't eat dessert. I'll eat like, well, I don't eat. It's more so like the processed sugars that do it for me, honey included. I mean, I can eat a whole pineapple, two whole pineapples, and feel pretty much fine. I can eat raspberries and watermelon and feel fine. But it's like baked goods, gluten, honey, like, I don't know, more instant sugars, but I know it's instant sugars. I'll feel fine if I eat a crap ton of raspberries. But like, I put the time in to notice this. I notice how I feel before I do something, how I feel after it. I mean, that's what makes me so good with supplements, is I put the time in to listen to my body. So I felt how I feel before I take the supplement, how I feel after I take a supplement, and now I know, okay, well, this supplement can take me from this feeling to this feeling. And then you do this, but it takes a little while. Like, in order for me to actually be good with supplements, it took like 6 months of listening to my body. And before that, I just went to my brother, I'm like, Devin, what do I do? How do I do the supplements? He's like, listen to your body. I'm like, how do I do that? He's like, what do you mean, how do you listen to your body? And I'm like, just tell me what you take. So then I started taking what he took and what his doses for supplements were, but I made sure that when I first took it, I paid attention to how I felt, and then after I took it, I paid attention to how I felt. And like, oh, this is how taking salt makes me feel. This is how taking magnesium makes me feel. This is how B vitamins and C vitamins make me feel. And you're just kind of training yourself to notice that. Then after a while, you just get this inclination of, oh, I should take some B vitamins. And you take some B vitamins and you feel better. And you're like, oh, maybe some vitamin C. You take some vitamin C, you feel better. Then you're like, oh, maybe I should like eat some food. You eat some food, you feel better. Maybe I should work out right now. You work out right now, you just feel better because you know how to feel better at each stage. And you can listen to your body and work your way up. So, yeah, we get from basically listen to your body, but especially with drug use, because like, I don't know, some people don't react to weed bad. I do. And I had to realize that it wasn't able to get me to where I thought that it could get me to be. Like, I had this disassociation in my head from what weed actually did for me and what I thought it would do for me. And until I addressed that, I was just unhappy because I would take it and it wouldn't get me to where I wanted to be. I'm like, well, I didn't want to be here. I wanted to be somewhere else. Like, when I took nicotine, I thought it was going to make me like feel better. It didn't. So I kept chasing it, and I'm like, and it's like spamming like a button on a controller. It's like you keep pushing the button, expecting to be happy, and nothing happens besides you get fucking addicted. So, and then 3 months go by, you're like, fuck, like now I'm addicted to this thing. That sucks. And then you quit. But like, you have to, if I realized that in the first place, and I was conscious to this in the first place, I probably wouldn't have been addicted. If I just actually looked at this, I'm like, this is a vape. It makes me a little dizzy and gives me a head rush. Why would I want this? Like, I questioned that when I first started, but instead I thought that it would do something for me that I just couldn't do. So, I don't know, be more conscious, and if you're having trouble doing that, sit down without a phone or go out into nature and just sit still.